The second part of this question just switches and says, to test the claim that the population mean for those using the new materials actually is higher than the mean of the students using the traditional materials. And this time we'll use a level of significance of 1%. So we'll stick with the same two groups. So my test group, I'll call group 1, and the control group I'll call group 2. The statistics haven't changed. We're just changing the hypothesis and the level of significance as well. So the claim in this situation is that those using the new materials is higher than the mean of the students using the traditional materials. So when we translate that, it's going to read, the mean of group 1, which is the test group, is larger than the mean of group 2, which is the control group. Now, placing that into the null and alternative hypotheses, this no longer has a statement of equality. And since it doesn't have a statement of equality, it's going to go in the alternative hypothesis. So mu1 greater than mu2 is our claim. And then the null hypothesis you can express as mu1 is equal to mu2, or you could use the complement and say mu1 is less than or equal to mu2. It doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. It doesn't affect the test in the end. Okay, then the next thing we need to get is a p-value. And the nice thing is we already have the data that we were using in the calculator. So if we go back to the toSamp t-test function, the only thing that we're going to need to change is the item which requests the type of test that we're using. So now I have a greater than symbol in the alternative. So I need to make sure I choose the greater than symbol in that line. Now, if you called your test group group 2 and your control group group 1, that would actually switch this and make it a less than, but that's okay. You'll get the same result in the end, although most of the test would be kind of the opposite of what we have in this video, but that's perfectly fine. Hit calculate. And the p-value here, if you'll notice, the test statistic is the same, 2.25, but the p-value here is 0.0136. And when we go to make our decision, that p-value of 1.36%, and comparing that to the level of significance, which is now 1%, this is larger. So the p-value is bigger than 1%. So that means usually if p is low, the null must go. So then we say we reject the null hypothesis. But in this case, p is larger, so we fail to reject the null hypothesis. And now we're going to fill in our interpretive sentence here. Okay, so again, restating the level of significance. So using a 1% level of significance, there is, and we're either going to put sufficient or insufficient. Sometimes you're using is or is not. It's okay, either way. So we failed to reject the null hypothesis. So we say there is insufficient evidence to, and in this case, the claim is in the alternative. So if the claim is in the alternative, we're actually trying to support it. So there is insufficient evidence to support the claim that the mean of those using the new materials is higher than the mean of those using traditional materials.